Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program called Fiume, and its goal is to help you with medium and long-term financial planning. And one of the things we want to do is control how you specify an amount of money. So in some cases, it's just a standard amount of money. You're getting a salary, you know what your salary is, and you can enter that. But other times, the amount of money might depend on amounts that other people are getting for other things. So my standard example is in Social Security, depending on the relative incomes of a husband and wife, if one spouse, if their income is low relative to the others, they might be in a position where they get half of the spouse's Social Security as income when they collect Social Security. And there are other variations. I mean, the tax codes are complicated, so there's room for lots of variations on that. But I want to be able to cover that case in particular. Let's see. So first is the notion of an overridable value. So one of my early decisions was I wanted to be able to say, you put in some stream, say an income stream, like your salary, and I'd like to be able to override it at some point and say in a later scenario and say, what if I got a 50% raise? And right now we don't have that. What I can do is say the salary has a start date and an end date. I can alter those, and say, oh, let's change the end date to 2035 or something like that. But I'd like to be able to override values. All right, so let's see where we're doing this. I think it's mostly going to be here. So this is Leia, liability, expense, income, or asset. Shoot, I lost my chat window, sorry. Okay, yeah, welcome Mudshark. Okay, so this covers streams and pools of money in or out. All right, and the way we are now, we have an ID, a name, an amount that's a concrete amount of money. First and last are date specifiers. Now, date specifiers can say it's an unchanged date, it's a new date, month and year, or it's based on the age of somebody. So, like if I want to say I'm going to collect Social Security at age 67, I can enter myself as a person and then talk about dates relative to my age. Okay, and I'd like to do something similar for money. And we started down that path. We created a money specifier. And so far, all we've done is given it the case we already have, an amount of money. And we've provided a method on it that says, what's the value? Well, it's the money. Okay, it's a very simple one. And okay, simple amounts, we put them in, we get them. All right, what gets complicated is we have persistence. And persistence says there's a field named amount, and I'm going to load it in to the field named amount. So the name here, well, it's got an implicit value. I could make it explicit and say equals amount. This is the name in here. This is the name in our JSON, basically. I mean, what it comes down to. All right. So if I want to change, I would love to just change amount to be a money specifier, this new entity that only knows about money at this point, but can be grown into something more fancy. So I need to transform this in a way that makes sense, that doesn't break my persistence, because I have a small customer base, but I want to build this habit of taking in concerns like that and making them, meeting those constraints. Okay, so right now I've got a field named amount, and then a value amount. Now I'm going to say this. We don't have to because it's implicit. If you have a enum that is of a type string, it will by default do the equivalent of this for each one. But now, I believe what I've done is I've made it so when I import, I can see the amount. Let's make a fresh run. We'll get the files where we can actually see them. Okay, so push D. Yes, so that's redundant, but we'll change things in a moment here. All right, so anyway, my strategy is going to be, I want to be able to change this name without breaking the existing persistence. Okay, so there we are with that. We got all these fields. Okay, so I believe, well, okay, let's look at this. So I can go to this directory. There's going to be a plans.json. Okay, let's do JQ. Plans.json. Okay, so we can see, all right, here's one of our things. Name is savings. Okay, type is pool. Wow, that blue is really obnoxious, or purple, or whatever it is. But amount is just a simple integer. It's the amount in dollars. All right. Or the stream has the amount like that. So you can see the value amount used as the key in this file. All right. So my theory is I can change, at least I hope, amount. Oh, whoops, I should do a rename. I'm going to call it amount original. Kind of a weird naming convention because I don't think we'll keep this name. I'm just proving out that this works. Okay, now this needs to match original. Okay, and it didn't conform to codable for a minute there because it had a case in the enum that it didn't see a matching field. It doesn't know that we did this. So if I run now, I should still see these same 4 streams. Good. I mean, just the graph is reassuring. Okay, and now let's go to the new document path. CD here. Bang JQ. Okay. And you can see that we still have this thing in amount. All right. So that's a good first step, actually. All right. So that tells me we can change this name to whatever we want, and we won't break our persistence. Okay, so I'm happy about that. It's a little weird. Now, let's make this find symbol. And I might even justify a comment here. Retain original persistent JSON name. Maybe that's enough. Okay. Now, these are similar. Well, these are the files we had open yesterday for other stuff. All right. So what I think is anybody who references amount original now, I'm going to introduce, does it also work on savings? Yes. Yeah, I mean, the coding keys are basically what's the field, because it's codable as in or out. It's saying, what should I call this field? I should call it the string value of the enum. And again, that's between string and coding key. Coding key tells you it is, it's supposed to match up to these codable keys and all that, or field names. Okay, so and yeah, actually, because we see it here, this file was, well, no, we don't see it, do we? Am I still running? Let's alter one. Let's give ourselves a raise. Okay, $50 raise every month. And make it unchanged. Okay, so now it's $150 a month. And we should still be in this same one. And there we see the $150 for salary. Okay, so yeah, it's working both directions. Probably good to check because I'm definitely not super experienced with doing the codable stuff. I mean, I've kind of worked through in exercises and I've used it a couple times, but it usually takes a little more than that for me to lock it in. But now, if your fields completely don't match or they don't matter, you'll just use them as is. You don't have to have any control. You can default it, and it'll basically do this. But what we get with this is, if we want to have an anonymous field, I don't think we have to worry about it too much. Okay, but anyway, should be able to keep different amount values. Yeah, so that's what I want to do now is switch to MoneySpecifier, which really has a function that gets you the value. Now, I was debating about whether that's a var or a value, but I think you're going to have to pass in other information at some point, I suspect. So we'll see. We may change that. But, okay, so what I'd like to do is get people asking, well, I'd really like to get them asking the MoneySpecifier. Oh yeah, we had some funniness here because we switched over to dates with first and last, so it was kind of the same clients. All right, but what I want to do is I want to move you to referencing a MoneySpecifier. Okay, I'm going to call that amount, which may be confusing, but I think it's okay. Var, let's call this amount spec, is a MoneySpecifier. Let's make it MoneySpecifier. No. Okay, one of the compromises we're making for persistence is that if we have the original version of data, it's not going to have an amount spec in it. And so if we try and read the old style persistence with just amount, and we say there's an amount spec in here, it doesn't know what to do. So I'm going to say it's optional. I don't think it has to be. I think we need to know that it's not there because we're going to have to do a little twiddling between what if they had given us amount original and what if they haven't and stuff like that. Okay. So my rule is going to be if they've given us a MoneySpecifier, we're going to use that. If they haven't, we're going to go back to the amount original and use that. All right. I don't know if that's. I don't want to be coy about it, but okay. So this should be fine. Nothing's referencing it. It's no change. It's kind of setting up a change. All right. And my goal is, this is kind of a refactoring. I mean, it's not, page 142 of Martin's book, it's more a medium-sized change. Well, a large, small change, maybe not quite medium-sized, designed to give us the same functionality once the change is made. So in effect, I'm trying to move from amount original to amount spec, adjusting all those clients and making them behave as if the original amount were just the money and they didn't need amount spec. Okay. So, all right. So what I want to do is using amount original to initialize amount spec as if it's an old save. Well, this is where, I don't know, I guess the word is resistant. If I were to come in and rewrite the loading mechanism, because we have complexity here, and so I'm trying to decide how much to fight it. But I could come in and define my own encode decode routines. Okay, it's very boilerplate, and I don't always have to look it up and all that. But it would be another, well, kind of page and a half of code, accounting for loading each field and all that stuff. And then we could say, oh, I load amount, but I don't store it anywhere. I just load it. And then I use that to populate amount original, or no, amount spec. Instead, I'm kind of leaning towards, I'm going to let people access amount like they always did. But, well, I don't know. Let's go back to here. Okay, so he needs to get original amount. What's his amount? Well, he's got optional int. Okay, for him, that's just initialization. Same for this one. This is us. This one is again, looking at the amount. Okay, so I guess what I'm seeing is everybody's reading it and nobody's setting it except Leia. Well, no, that can't be right. Oh, maybe it can, because these things are, it's a struct and we're not really modifying it per se. We set it and then that's it. Okay, so I'm going to give this, let's give public var amount, and his value is MoneySpecifier. Okay, and how do you get the amount? Well, if it's let's do it this way. Guard no. Yeah. Guard let result equal amount spec, else return MoneySpecifier dot amount in amount original. And otherwise return result. Well, I guess amounts, yeah, let's say it that way. Okay, so I guess what save both, keep the old behavior when it's stored in original amount spec shouldn't need to implement the original variant. Well, we could default it to that, but I think I want to make MoneySpecifier be self-contained. And so if you create them, so I guess what I'm going to do at some point when you're creating it, where's the init? I guess I should move, well, it's a var, okay. You give me an amount. Well, hopefully I can get you to give me a money spec. What did I call it? Money spec, right? Yeah, MoneySpecifier. Okay, so I can get you to give me this, but even if you don't, I can get that and I can write it out to, I would write original amount is 0, and amount spec is the new specifier. Okay, so I think this doesn't change anything yet. I've just provided an accessor that nobody's calling. All right, still building. Okay. I don't know. It definitely seems slower now. It was zipping along the other day when we first made this change. But I can't tell. I think sometimes the indexing gets in the way and it's waiting for that more than anything. But okay, so everything passes that way. Nobody's calling it yet. All right, but now I think I can make it. I think if I call amount, I'm going to get the same thing. Okay, so if I do pool.amount here and here, okay, oh no, they don't. Okay, let's undo that one. Let's see if we can make this one right. Okay, so he's int question mark. Well, that's not right. Okay, let me run this. Okay, so let's do a pool edit. Amount. Oh no, I'm going to do a pool new. Okay, amount is 0. Okay, I don't think that question mark is actually being used. Okay. But so let's find the usages of amount in here. Ugh. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm gonna, If amount is not nil and amount's less than 0, return false. If name is empty, return false. Okay, well, I think the way we are now, I think this is a little redundant, or, well, no, that's got the neutral color. Where'd that go? Neutral. Amount is nil, or amount less than or equal to 0, return neutral. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I don't think amount will ever be nil the way we are now. Now, you can make a case for it that it should, like it shouldn't have a value here until you've put one in. Say both, keep the old behavior when it's stored in original amount. Yeah. Well, I think in the long run, we'll get everybody migrated over to the new persistence, which won't take long, hopefully. And then at some point in the future, we could probably update, remove that thing from the JSON. You know, once we know everybody's done it, and we could provide a migration and stuff like that. But I think, you know, given the size of the customer base, which is sort of mostly 2, yeah, start by saving both. Yeah, so this is like refactoring. Database refactoring, you have this pattern. It's sort of like the same pattern you do anyway. Sorry, my glass is leaking all over the place. You have this pattern that you want to make a migration, so you provide the new way, you get everybody working with the new way, and then you can delete the new way. It's unlike in code migration. You just You just migrate and you're done. But with database, you got to make sure all the clients are migrated because they're separate. All right. So I don't think amount can be nil. It's not. Yeah, because it's not when you're creating it. Okay, so let's back this back out. Amount original. Okay, let's take the nilness out and make sure everything's good. And actually, this should be money. Okay, now, yeah, these amount else return 0. That's no longer relevant. Okay, if amount is nil and if amount is not equal nil, that's always true. If amount is less than 0, it's not valid. And if amount or nil can't happen, if amount is less than or equal to 0. Did I miss another one of those? All right. And cannot convert binding of money to binding of it. Okay, that's a separate thing. Yeah, make one change at a time. Just ask me. Okay, so is it a binding to a nullable? Is that what I've got? Yeah. Okay, so number field. Okay. Let's see the colors of that. I'm surprised it cares. Okay, edit pool view, edit stream view. Okay, so I can make the same change in both of them. Let's do that just to kind of keep it simple. Amount is int. Okay. This goes away. Yeah, similar code too, isn't it? Amount is not nil. We know that's true. So true and condition equals condition. Yeah, we know these are similar. Okay, and then now number field can take this. That was the only two uses of it. Value. Hopefully he's not going to complain about that. Okay, build. Cannot force unwrap. Did I miss one? Amount not equals 0 is true, so this. Okay. Well, I'll run tests first, but they shouldn't be affected. These are all UI changes we're making at this point. All right, we haven't broken anything. Okay, so let's check that in. Let's see. Change Leia.amount to .amount original. Add coding key, so JSON not affected. Make amount non-nullable in the views. Okay. Push. All right. So, and again, my way around needing to change both those was I could have defined a number field, a non-null number field or something like that. There is a way to do this to make something that accepts either ints or int question marks, but there were only 2 uses, so I cheated. Okay, but now so we have these 6 or 8 places in here that use the amount. All right. Let's change this again. Okay, now somebody should complain, right? Let's change this to amount. That should be fine. Amount dot value. Oh. Number field wants a number value. If I say amount.value, that's not a field he can access. All right, let's undo. Okay, now what if... Okay, I'm going to try adding some state. Okay, now I have to initialize that. Initial value is pool.amount. Okay. Well, okay, so now we've got amount spec sitting there not used. Let's make this be amount.value. Okay, because he's incoming, that should be fine. These two are equivalent now, kind of. All right, so I should be able to say amount spec.value, because that's a view on, I mean, it's a view function basically. If amount spec.value is less than 0, and we can straighten names out at some point if we want to do things differently. Okay, now this is amount. Start with the leaf. Yeah. Well, amount. I don't know. Maybe I should work on the form. Okay, so I think number field, maybe it's kind of the sticky point here. Really, he's kind of like, he's really the value. I mean, the amount. With just as much complexity as edit date range has. Well, it's got two fields, but you know, it's kind of similar. Now, if I change amount, nothing's getting it back in. Yeah, this is tricky. Okay, I'm going to revert again. I don't know. I want to be careful on this and kind of not break things. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I want a whole nother view. Just like we have, well, we have edit date range view that uses date specifier view. I want an equivalent money specifier view. And it can start simple, but I think we need it. Well, he's really a view. And he needs to import from our model. Okay, so as part of that, it's funny it wants to put them there. Okay. Right. So we want this to take a binding money spec is money specifier. And, well, no. Well, maybe I want to call that amount. Okay. Now, he's replacing, where's that form? He's going to use this, but he wants an int. Well, okay. Let's find this thing. Number field. Really, it's this is kind of his body. Okay, so this is, I don't know, it's not really, I can't say it's a very clean extract method, but it's the kind of thing we want. And then let's make state var I'm going to say dollars of int. Okay. All right. And now this is dollars and dollars. Background color. Well, that almost belongs to this anyway. Yeah, it does belong to it. Okay, well, this is kind of coming out nicer. Okay, so we have dollars. Is income. I guess we need to know that too. Okay. Well, this is going to get more generic. You know, he's got to bind to that too. Okay, let's see how bad this is. What's the complaint? Oh. Yeah, it's fair enough. We'll keep this over there temporarily. Var. Don't know how long I should wait. I did wait for one off screen last night just to make sure it would produce a preview. Okay, I'm not waiting anymore. All right, so we got MoneySpecifier view. Right now, that's self-contained. Nobody's calling it. If we pass in income and amount, we can set the dollars. Do I need to do on change? Should dollars be initialized to value? Yes. Okay, so let's give the initializer. Oh. Okay, you want to specify it for me? I'm happy. I don't think it'll work. Dollars int equals 0. Don't I need bindings? Cannot convert MoneySpecifier view to closure type UI view. Is income bool. Why isn't that a binding? Amount MoneySpecifier. Cannot convert value of MoneySpecifier view to closure result type UI view. I think this needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be a binding for that one. Actually, we're not changing it. But this needs to be a binding. Probably what we did here. Take that for a model. Underscore this equals .init. Cannot call value of non-function type. Binding of this of money goes to binding of this to int. Oh. Well, I think this is the place we're crossing that line. So cannot call value of non-function type. Binding of nothing to money. What's this one? Incorrect label. Initial value. Why would that be projected value? Amount dot value gives me money. Non-function type, binding of nothing to money, right? Remove that. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah. Amount. Oh, amount dot wrapped value. Okay, what's the complaints? Space. All right. Golly. Okay. I think that will initialize. It will edit the value, but in here we need to do the update. So amount equals money specifier dot amount of dollars. Okay, so now, all right, so we have an editor for money specifiers, even though it only knows one case, amount. All right. Edit pool view has, where's, his income name, amount. Oh, I put all that back. Okay. All right, so now I think I can change this without breaking edit stream view. That was kind of a goal. We're going to add our amount spec of money specifier. Okay. Now this, right, initializer doesn't know what to do. Amount spec equals this I want to be value. Okay, so now I've got the field added in. Everybody's still using amount, but we're going to switch this out to money specifier view is income, amount is dollar amount spec. All right, I'm going to leave them both here for a moment. And we're just checking to make sure it comes up right. Did I run tests or code? Oh my. Building for previews. No, I definitely hit something. Okay, that's still going. Finished. No, I'm. Okay, that's all good. This should look pool. Okay, well, he looks similar. Yeah, which he should. If I make him 0, and if I make him -8, yeah. Okay, so I think I've got the right thing going, but we don't use it. Well, amount spec gets used, but somebody, right, here we're creating amount with that. Okay. Oh, we caught up to the previous run, I think. Okay. So I'm going to take this out. Okay. So the problem is this is coming with created amount, sign income, one. Okay. Well, that's not completely wrong. But I want I want an initializer that takes a money spec. Now there's a bunch of places that use this thing, so I'm going to duplicate and hopefully get rid of it at some point. But all right, but let's take amount of money specifier and amount original equals amount dot value and self dot amount spec equals amount. Okay. Now this one, if you create it with this, yeah, I need to create amount spec equals dot amount with amount. Okay. Once you're supposed to delete characters. Okay. All right, so we have a new initializer. That's the one we want here. Amount is dot amount of created amount. Will he detect that? Okay. I don't know if that's ambiguous. His income never mutated. Well, yes, that's fine. Okay, let's run this now. Okay, so what this should do is the pool view, if we were to change the amount of the asset, it should get changed in the value of it should get changed. All right, so let's change the asset. Let's make it bigger. Okay, because there's $5,000. It gets consumed immediately. Let's make it like $50,000. Okay, so 5,000, 50,000. Yeah, a little weird with the comma. Okay. Oh, did not do it. So where are we falling apart? Okay, so here we call created amount is off of amount. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. I don't even know what amount is doing for us at this point. Let's make this amount spec dot value. Now it always gets one. Okay, so it thought the created amount was amount, but who's editing amount? Nobody. Okay, I think that fits. Yeah, it was using amount in here. So no matter what you edited, when it said, how much should I store? It said, oh, take amount. Well, we don't change amount anymore. We only change amount spec. All right. Yeah, we can look at the JSON. Okay, let's find that asset. Savings, 5,000. So yeah, that's not updated. And I think it's because we create the amount going in. Our edit specifier view doesn't, it only deals with amount spec. We come back with the amount spec. When you hit create, it uses created amount, which fetched the wrong value. Okay, but now should fetch this. Now the same thing kind of applies. Let's find amount. Okay, so it really is like it's got to be dot value. Like what did you put in with your editor? Okay, amount. Okay. Yeah, nobody's really using that at this point. Okay, because I just changed them. Not that it wasn't already. Okay, so now I hope our run accepts our edits. Why are you so slow? I hit test again, darn it. I mean, I guess it's a good habit, but not so helpful when we're doing view stuff. Okay, I got this. Let's edit savings to make it 50,000. We expect that to shift higher. All right, so 50,000. Now, when I do update, you'll see it flashes to updating the field the way it should. Yeah, and then you can see we're starting at 50,000 and consuming now instead of 5,000 where we ran out of money quick. We're good for 10 years or 15 or 12 or something. All right. So I think that handles this. Okay. Now this one, it's got the state because it's maintaining those amounts. Yeah, it's initialized from the wrapped value, and we use it locally, but we don't store it. This is the thing that gets affected in the end. Money amount. Okay. All right. So give edit. Wow. My fingers are nowhere near the keys apparently. Give edit pool view and a money specifier. Use MoneySpecifier view to edit it. Okay. All right, and now everybody's passing us money. No, wrong thing. Edit pool view. Oh, nobody's referencing this, I hope. Okay. Edit pool view references it, but that's in MoneySpecifier view now. Okay, so this method is no longer used. We initialize it and we referenced it. Okay. Let's run. And we should see our $50,000 now, starting point. Yep. Okay. And pool view looks good. Okay. Now, wait a minute. What's... That comma's missing there. That's annoying. What? That does not match. The start month, end month stuff. Did that always have a problem? That one's empty. That one's empty. This one has an age. Okay, I guess we did that. We removed Liza. I don't think, if I add Liza here, I don't think I'm getting the same one. I believe we restricted it by ID. I don't know if that's confusing or not. Yeah, so Liza's not found. I don't know if that's a... Well, let's make an asset. Inheritance. It's an asset. It's worth $2,000. Unchanged. Let's make it start in 2030. That seems okay. Now if I edit it, what do I get? That seems all right. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, there's our savings, 50,000. Year 2019, 0, 2019, 44. Or 2044. Okay, so the JSON looks right. Huh. Why is that looking wrong when it edits? Did we not set something? Let me look again. All right, so this one should be January 2030 to anytime. Ooh, that reset. It knows it's right. And this one reset. Well, I'm going to change this to 2022. Update it. Oh. Okay. What? Well, let's put one on this one. Job 2 expense starts in 2035. Update. Okay, there's 2035. 2035. Let's edit. 2020. Okay, this is stream and it has the same problem. So it's probably something that was existing. All right, let's look at the pool view then. It's something about the dates. the date range dot null is definitely that. January 2020 is date range dot null, but dates get set here. I mean, does that say I shouldn't even make an initial value? Why doesn't updating this update the display? Yeah, I don't remember what was doing this. This is a date range, right? Okay, so that was pool view I edited, so let's look at this one. Nope, they null out. Okay, so it must know the right information somewhere. It's just not getting to our screen. What? Okay. Edit date range view dates, $dates. That seems kind of okay. Dates dot first, date dot last. Well, does our dates really a dates, or is that a made up thing? It's a made up thing. Right. Okay. So this field doesn't have a setter capability, so there's no way on the way out dates. It did not get edited on this. I don't know why it could be passed. Really? Edit date range needs state for the values. Well, he's supposedly getting this binding to dates, and these values get edited, but the date spec itself is not. I'm honestly surprised it's not complaining about this. Dates is a binding. Yeah, when it created dates as a binding, right? How does that even... Okay, so we initialize it from pool.dates. It's a struct, so it's just a value object. We're editing it. Well, he's a state, so he has his own copy for this. But this passes the binding to the local variable. And nothing changes that. need to set it using an on change. I think maybe. Like here, right? So on change of dates.first. Maybe this is just on change of dates. Except I'm not convinced it changes. All right, let's try this. And then we'll try dates, and I think dates won't work, and we'll change it back. Okay, so edit this. Dates are coming in wrong. Now, if I change it to 2015, it changes it. Okay, so initialization is not working. Edit pool view. Dates is bound to that state. Right, but the initial value, pool.dates, I guess go look at that. Date range first, last, that seems completely valid for this. Edit date range view for first and last. Well, it should. So you're suggesting a state for first and last? Something on these lines, add an init. We don't want this. First equals, well, dates.first. It's not going to let me do that. Dates.last. Cannot pass to expect argument type. Yeah, there should be a binding. Remove connect value of date range to expected. Oh, dates is a date range. Should be. Oh, I'll just erase that. Projected value. And then this is first. Last. On change of first. Yeah, you're right. It's not updating. All right, let's try this. So our problem now, well, it updated it on the way out, but our problem was we weren't initialized right on the edit view. Okay, well, we're getting some complexity there. All right, January 2015. All right, not set right. Am I? Maybe I better understand this init. Why is it sometimes projected and sometimes initial value? Creates a value from the value of another binding. Okay. An initial value creates a value from a simple value, I assume. You don't access wrapped value directly. Instead, use the property variable created with the binding attribute. He's playing. That's not when you set it, though. When a mutable value changes, updates to display happen asynchronously, right? Projected value. Okay. No initial value. Okay. Okay, so you come in with dates, the binding, and we say, okay, we want to initialize dates from that. Well, why can't I just say self.dates equals dates then? Cannot assign a value. And then first is do I need the wrapped value there? Cannot assign value binding a date specifier to text. Okay, let's run it this way. What am I doing wrong? And where's it getting that 2020? Because that's my null date. And it seems like it's somehow getting a null date in there. Well, that would mean this is wrong. Initial value pool.dates. But that always creates a new one. And these aren't question marked, so they're legit. And yet, this sets its value up fine. What am I doing differently for MoneySpecifier? Binding of MoneySpecifier is incoming amount equals init projected value amount. Dollars equals amount dot wrap value. Underscore equals init with projected value. Okay. Regular for the state equals the int with the wrapped value. This wrapped value, go to the date binding, get the wrapped value, get the first. Okay. And we know Leia's got it right at least. Okay. Edit. Nuts. Okay, let's take a break. 3 or 4 minutes. We'll figure out what's going on when we get back. Okay, can be a connected to the man's presentation change. Is there a local date formatter in the picker? That's a good question. Go to date specifier view. All right, there shouldn't be. Month, year. Oh, where's the view? Month, year, view. Oh, is that? Well, that's suspicious. Because we have months defined in here. Now they match. These are the display ones. But I don't think that's the problem then. They're going off the tags, off the indexes, so it's not really, it's using that to display the months, but it's not using it to set the months. I don't think. Where's that set? Yeah, we use the raw value of that. Okay. I think I want to let's print while we're coming in. Edit date range view, dates equals dates. Yeah, I mean it's definitely good to be suspicious on that. Okay, did we get a print? Yes. I think description would be a better way to do it. Binding of date range, 2015 to 2044. Why it's showing up twice, I'm not quite sure. Really, I have to go to wrapped value? We won't quite be valid. But that sure sounds like it's coming in correctly. Okay, well that's good, because I was worried that something in front of this was doing it. All right, now let's look at first equals self.first dot description of people. Okay. Now I'm puzzled. Okay, so I guess, thank goodness, everything looks like it's being set up right here. We got the date specifier. I mean, it's got to be some sort of initialization thing, right? Because we're getting edit date range view takes the two, and he's got the right values for first and last after we set them. And then body should be off of first. All right, and then let's go in here. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. I bet. No. Is month year? Well, this looks suspicious. Okay, so we have the date specifier type. That's our three values. Okay. And then month year, well, where's the date type set? Date specifier, date spec. Yeah, that seems weird. Like, if it's not exactly a month year, but data type is, oh, it's set down here. Okay, I guess it is a month year, but where's month year in? Oh, that's on the case. Okay. Month year equals. It's in the case. Oops, something's funny. Oh, he wants more space there. No big deal. It's the value pulled from the date spec. Mm-hmm. Well, this is date spec wrapped value. So we think date specifier coming in should be right. Okay, yeah, this is weird. All right, so we're getting DSView dspec is the date we expect, the start date, the end date. But somehow date spec.wrapped value okay, so wrapped value, that should be a date spec, right? Whoops. Well, that doesn't help. That's a binding to date spec. Wrapped value should take the binding off. And now we just have switching on a date spec, and he gets one of these three types. Well, he sure looks like it. Yeah, I mean that kind of crossed my mind, but it's the only month year it can reference. I think. Always have to qualify that. This is weird, though. I mean, did we just not notice it in that whole date spec change? Okay, that's definitely wrong. Okay. Okay, so we print date spec, and he says January 2015. We're clearly coming in through this path, but all right, let's. I don't see how that would be. Month year in equals January 24. Okay, this is weird. Month year in equals January 2015. Okay, we set the date type to month year. We set the month year value to January 2015. And then we print month year. January 2020. Okay. Let's move the print down. Give it a little prime for after. Oh, golly, what the heck? I got nothing here. Is it that it's setting it twice? That seems really... Well, theoretically, I can move this into each path, right? And if I did it here, this already has one, or here. Month year end should be a month year. Let's verify. Well, there's month year. And this is month year. Month year is the result of description. No, it's not the result of description. It's date spec is the full date specifier. Well, it's a binding to a date specifier. The wrapped value gives the date specifier itself. It's got one of these three cases. But like I don't even know. Did I take out the let me take out this one. I mean, are you only allowed to set a field once? I've never heard that. Golly. Okay. Wow. Now I know they have these set once fields, but I can't believe these should be those. Wow. Okay, let's undebug it. Month year, date type. Well, I guess we could say self dot just to kind of be consistent on these. Seems reasonable. Print. I can't even tell you. I mean, they're not observable values or anything like that. They're just simple. I mean, this is a struct. This is a struct. This is a struct. Oh, this one's an enum, maybe. I think that's up here, right? Yeah. Date specifier type. Okay, let's run it this way. Well, at least it's in a low-level thing, so it fixes it for both edit pool and... Okay. Yeah, but like, why would it... I wouldn't think it would be async. I'm near an initializer. I don't know. I mean, you're updating... Well, you're updating these states. Maybe there is something going on there because states have to be monitored, right? I mean, they got to be some sort of change detected thing. But I had no idea that would act that way. Wow. Okay. Well, this one seems okay now with our approach of using the amount spec throughout. Okay, let's do that to stream. I know it's up here somewhere. edit stream view. Okay, so edit pool view, we added this. Now there's something going on. Okay. And I don't get the coloring either, come to it. Like, why is this one greenish, but this one's black? They're both just simple states. Okay. Right. So we've got this coming in. We're setting it from pool.amount or stream.amount in our case. Good. This, well, we're going to have to deal with these colors. Or I could decide that they could all be the same color and it wouldn't hurt anything. That's kind of true. Yeah, you must be right. Something like that. Although strings are really structs as well, right? So it's, but okay. Maybe it's built in. All right. I guess I got to get these colors in here somehow. And I don't know, this, I'm not totally happy with how we're handling negative numbers, I guess. And I got to talk to my brother on this one too. He's like, is it normal to show these with negatives? All right. Let's get these in. Oh, man. Okay, I really know how to do this, right? It's to make two little subviews that rely on it. Okay, so let's just give it is income var positive color string var negative color string. All right, and let's make this struct money specifier. Well, asset specifier view is a view. He needs this stuff, but he doesn't need this. Why aren't you updating? Extra arguments. Oh, I guess they need to come in. Okay, and then the caller of this should take asset specifier view. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's fine. I'm going to keep the distinction for now. This is really a pool. Pool amount specifier, money specifier. Okay. And let's do the corresponding stream money specify your view. And it's almost the same. Okay. All right, now edit stream view. Okay, so everywhere it does amount, we want to do amount spec value. All right, now this one. Except this is stream. And then the creation amount. Okay. And then who's referencing amount? Okay. Now this is a stream. We should get the right editor. Okay. And if I change this salary to 159, changes. Okay, let's edit this. That looks good. Oh, we've got to do that. We've got to do some. I'm not sure the right way to handle that. Amount spec value less than 0. Well, I think that's on this. We had that right before, I think. Dollars is absolute value of that. I know we had an absolute somewhere before. I think we took it out at this point. Try that again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that initializer had the abs before we changed things. All right, so this one should, yeah. Okay, and if I force a minus sign in there, that's a problem. But he looks like an expense first. These dates, let's change this one. 2059. Job 2. 2059. Okay. Well. Okay, so we made. Well, we fixed. I should check that in. Initialization problem in edit date range view / date specifier view can only set a state once in init, apparently. And then we made edit stream view use date MoneySpecifier view. Okay. Good. All right. So I think what we've got now, let's look at Leia. Amount original. Does anybody reference this? All over the place. They shouldn't. I don't think. I think they should be asking amount. Okay, so we've got this new variable that takes the place. Why did it tell me twice? MoneySpecifier dot value. No. Leia.amount. Oh, amount gives a money specifier, doesn't it? Okay, dot value. LHS.amount. that. Now that may complain if amount spec is not equatable yet. Let's make sure. Okay, money specifier. Well, I'm willing to do that because it'll synthesize it for me. And it's a reasonable question. Amount original, money specifier. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to say amount dot value here. Did I miss one? Amount original equals amount. Okay. Amount at this should be amount value. And then if we're creating a new one, do we have the two now, right? We have this. Okay. Syntax errors. We don't yet. Okay, but we're going to run green. Okay, well that's really good. Okay, so we remove most usages of amount or original. Okay, so now Leah, I think this should be private if I've done it right. Yeah, we know it's not saving amount spec because we don't have it in our list of coding keys. So, well, we'll run it and make sure, but I'd be shocked. But hey, I didn't even know initializers could only initialize a value once, so that tells you. All right. That is cool. Okay. So let's deal with the amount spec. Money specifier. He's an enum. He only has this. Okay, so there should be no problem. That's an int. We're just storing an enum with an int. Okay, so let's go back here. So let's see, the way we're doing it now, we're only saving amount original. And when you ask amount, well, it's nullable, so amount spec always stays null on initial read. Okay, so, well, we said we'd look. Let's make sure. Didn't we already establish that? Equatable requires MoneySpecifier conform to equatable. Okay, let's clear this out. Okay, it was OD1B6 is different. Okay, yeah, so we're just seeing amount, bare amount. Okay, now Leia, where are you? Okay, so we load amount original and we use that by default. I guess if you edited this, we would change that. Okay, so if I want to add this, we add a case for it. Amount spec. Does not conform to decodable. Oh, MoneySpecifier. Has to conform to codable. So any type we want to include in IO, just like date specifier. Where's the date specifier? We have to add that. Okay, so that should be better. Now, is this going to work right? We haven't run it yet, I don't think. So if the money spec doesn't exist, it comes in as nil. That's normal, and everything goes. But if it does exist, I guess we use it, and whatever's in amount original gets ignored. Okay. Right. So I believe if we run this, this comes in as nil, which is no problem, and everything works as it does. But if we alter it, then it should change over to using MoneySpecifier amount. Okay, so let's run it. And this is like the critical moment, because if it fails on load, okay, it looks like it did. All right, so if I change this, let's make it 50,001. All right. Now, we should be able to take this file. And it's that first one, right? Savings. Amount spec. Okay. So he does put this field in. This is selecting that and using, this is just the encoding they use for enums. Should not crash without amount spec. Yeah, that's critical. That's the reason I made it optional. So if it were required, then when you load it up the original format, there is no money specifier and it blows up. So that required, that's why we have both amount spec and amount. But I think, over time, as long as we make it so everybody upgrades at the same time, version by version or whatever, so if I know that everybody has upgraded, then I can come in next and I can say amount original never gets used. Okay. Because, amount spec is always defined, but I would have to make sure they've had at least one change or the old version sits around, it would take some work. And I don't know, I probably should do it both ways just to prove to myself, but, I'm adding this much extra code to do the sort of little dance with the two fields. I'd had to add at least this much for encodable and decodable, probably almost twice that much. Now, we haven't run the tests. Let's make sure that's still happy. I don't think it's affected by this, but all right. But I also wonder, who's using this one? Is it just tests? Well, there's that one. Still building. Oh, no. All right. Yeah, let's see who's calling while it's thinking there. Leia name amount. Right, money amount. We would like to change those all to money specs. We'll let it finish testing. Okay. And what the change was, okay, so make the money specifier amount spec be persisted. All right. Yeah, so I'll go back to these. Everybody that's creating a Leia, we would like them to create it with the money spec. I don't know how much time we have to do all that. It's kind of annoying. I don't know what my rules are. Can I make an init? Is that allowed? contextual type. Self. I'm doing something a little weird with this. Let's see if he does init. Nope. Oh, self equals. Okay, that's right. Okay. Does that build? Good. All right, so I think this can now be, I can say MoneySpecifier parens and the money. Make sure that works first. From Now, the problem is it gets confused because before the only constructor was the codable one, or, you know, the decoder one from, and now we have this, and it thinks that should be the constructor. I think that's going to not work. All right, but these aren't that hard. Okay, so this becomes amount dot, or parent amount, no, dot amount of amount. Yeah, you're right. Aren't we glad we did a make method for that? All right, again, let's just run it. Make sure everybody's happy, and then we can do that elsewhere. Yeah, my goal is to remove that original initializer, but we had to get rid of all the uses first. All right, I haven't written my to-do at all, but I don't want to forget to do that tomorrow. Remove original Leia init. Okay, I'll update those later. All right, that's happy. Let's do the others. I don't know, amount equals amount of amounts. Starting to sound like Java. Okay. Okay, I'll steal a couple minutes here and see if we can get that initializer removed. Good, all right. Well, assuming that runs, well, missed one. We basically did this. Well, no, we didn't quite do that. We did this. We introduced the money specifier and used it throughout and replaced all the original stuff without breaking persistence. Now we're going to be able to do, we'll add unchanged, just like we did for the dates, and then we'll look at adding this ratio one. All right, but I think we're there, so we'll call it a wrap there. All right, well, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.